Okay, so this is my Chevy 2009 Suburban. It is an LTZ, as you can see there. Doesn't make much difference to it. It has the usual package of electric door locks, and what's supposed to happen whenever you pop the key, which you'll see here, is it should lock, the door should close. I should be able to hit the unlock twice, and the door should open, and then the door should lock and latch again, which the car is doing right now. A little problem though. About half the time, that door doesn't actually unlatch. It gets into a mode where the door lock is kind of half set and half not set, and then when you go to close the door, it doesn't close. It just goes kind of thud and doesn't connect. So what I'm going to have to do is replace a component in there. That there component is in this box. Because inside of this guy there is a little electric motor, and that little electric motor gives up and doesn't work correctly. So I should have 3 pieces. There, by the way, they are unique to the doors. They can only work with one particular door set. So when you look at this guy here, and you look down at the door, which I'll get down in here so you can see the latch. If you're looking at that latch right there, you want to see a pattern where they seem to be in the right place. So this one will actually work with this door the way it's supposed to. So from that, I'm going to have to quietly tear the door apart and go ahead and replace this guy. Tearing the door apart is relatively easy. There isn't much to it. And there's about 1,001 videos on how to do this. But inside of here is a tiny little latch that pops out, releasing the top so you can take it off. And then inside of the door latch there's a little plate that pops out and exposes a 10mm bolt. Underneath of here, you slide in underneath the brown fake wood trim or whatever it is cover. You pop it out and disconnect. You can see right here. Disconnect that power lead so that this comes off, like so. And then in behind the door right there is another cover. In behind the latch, it easily comes out with a screwdriver gently, not scratch the plastic. And there will be 2 more 10mm nuts in there. And then the rest of it is all about popping off things. I'll be back in a second with the 10mm that I forgot to bring with me. Alright, so to continue, my happy little extension of 10mm, start sucking out these bolts, which isn't hard. Thank you. Take that guy out. Just FYI, there's another thing you'll find. These nice chrome handles, like I'm moving with a finger here, chrome comes off of them. eBay is a great place to get the replacements. They will get sharp to where they will cut you like a knife. And of course I can't get my 10-year-old kids to understand that. So I've had to replace all 4 of them in this car. We're running right at 200,000 miles. There will be a bunch of maintenance I got to do on this thing due to that over the next month or 2. Kind of been waiting for it to cool off enough that I'm not uncomfortable out here, because it has been bloody hot this summer. And since I'm doing it to my own stuff and it keeps running, I'll wait. Okay, so 2 things to get these doors apart. Rubber spatula, those special tools you can buy everywhere, and this little guy that's got a fork in it. Kind of can see it. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. Should show up against my skin. This guy is really good for pulling plugs. This guy is really good for spreading. You get in behind the door, and you just start anywhere where there's a latch plug. Just gently start pulling it. loose. Once you started it, it should come to your fingers. Okay? Nice and simple. Lift it up, wiggle it, and pull it away from the door ever so slightly. Don't go too far, because once you get here, there's a door latch that has to be pulled. And it's real easy to break this. So I'm going to grab the camera. Come close. Hi. If you look careful, you'll see the latch right there. That thing has got to be popped out, then it pulls loose. If you break it, it never works quite right afterwards. So we'll get this back, and we'll go ahead and gently find the tabs, push one, rotate it around, push the other tab, and it pops loose, and it comes out that easy. Then I just take this thing and put it up on top of the car. Where it is out of the way, and the little plastic knickknacks and doodads don't get busted. We're going to take this off, the inner liner. If you look, it has a butyl rubber seal. You just gently, very gently pull on it, especially on a nice warm day. If it's a cold day, get yourself a hairdryer. Gently warm it up, and it will pull right on off. The outlines of all of this are dead easy to follow. You don't want to tear it. It's your weather seal. Let's get that line out of there. And then we'll push the power lines through it. And we're getting closer. Stay close to where it's unsticking from the door, and it'll finally just come to you, and it'll leave that ribbon of butyl rubber on there very nicely. You lay it up so that the butyl rubber's up and not sticking on stuff. You've now got access to the inside of the door. You can see here, I'm going to turn you sideways. We're going to take out things that are inside there and up along the sides. So, what does it take to do it? Okay, let's get here. So, our replacement part comes with this, so we don't have to take it off. This guy right here. Let me adjust the camera down just ever so slightly. With brutal camera inefficiency, which I'm good for. Alright, so there's pieces falling down in there. That's reassuring. Alright, so we have a few things we got to take off. And I think about half of this is going to be easier if I just take it loose from the door here with the Torx bit that fits it, which is, I believe, 25. No, 30. Good to know that I don't remember. Offsie down here. Don't even need power tools for this, it's easy. If they're stuck on that bad that you need a power tool, you're going to break something. It's 2. At 3, this is going to want to fall out, which I don't much care about, because it's not going to hurt anybody. Although you feel like a monkey when you go to put it in. And it's kind of annoying when you try to take it out. So first things first, when I pull it back, I got to get an electrical connector. Wow. Okay, that's abnormal. Remember I said it wasn't working too good? I don't believe that piece is supposed to come off by itself. Wasn't that interesting? So let's leave it whole for now. That's most interesting. Alright. I will assume we have some extra parts here, and that's why things fell down when I started on this. Okay. Now, still attached to it, I'm going to go ahead and get a picture of this. It's going to require taking the camera loose. It's going to get a little choppy here for a second. But if you look careful, right down in there, if I get up real close, you'll see, if you follow my hand, that yellow thingy right there. Wow, it's hard to see that. Let's see if I can get it up enough. Yeah, there you go. You can just see the latch. That latch has to come off to release the rod that operates the door from the pull leashy thing. So, this is kind of a grunt and peck thing. Again, with a screwdriver. I may have one that's too big for what I'm trying to do here. But the latch doesn't really matter. It matters that you don't break anything having to do with the door rod itself. So I'm going to try and pull it through, and I got it. Feed this through. Down here at the bottom, you'll see that it has wires that have to come off. They're right here. And this is a slip latch. Get underneath the back of it and start it up. And as you pull it, it will disconnect itself from the system. So you see the latch is up there, hopefully. And we have what, to the best of my knowledge, appears to be a very broken door holder thingy. So, obviously it needed replacing. Now, for inconvenience sake, I'm going to try and get this thing off of here. Without destroying the latching system, which I have done. There's my little yellow dingus I got to get off. And now we have the replacement part. Alright, so as you can see right here, it's fitted on, and it appears that the original pop rivets that held it on completely gave up. Quality construction. I wonder if this is one of them Doorman parts or if it's the original. Who made this thing? No, that puppy's the original. And broken. It's done. So now it has to be fitted the right way. It already has this latch ready to clamp down on that rod. It has to have the second piece fitted in here, which is this guy. This rod here has to be put into it that works the manual door lock. So allowing us to how it's like so, and that was on the back side to the metal clamp, like so. This should work as designed like that. The biggest problem is going to get that clamp back here, and it may be almost easier to fit this thing in and start a couple of screws and then see about it. It's kind of a tight spot. So I feed the rod down in there, slide that thing past the brace for the window track, he said gently as he tried not to break anything. Turn around almost completely backwards, horseshoe it into place, and as you come up, you'll be able to stick a finger in there 2 times to get this rod generally headed out the right direction, which is right there. And for convenience sake, I'm going to grab it with simple pair of straight pliers, he said. Yep, right there. With it sitting in the hole, I can grab it with straight pliers and pull enough to get it to fall up where I want it. Now, with that in place, and upside down, Since the wiring goes on top, I should be okay. Relatively easy. Alright. Now, I'm going to line it up with a hole and start the 3 screws. They will not be tight to start with, because I don't want them running away. So just gently in place, all 3 of them. And this is the door lock that has the child safety lock on it, so you have to have that exposed. Okay. So what you should see with that done is if you get up close to it, it's fitted into the space. There's a rubber gasket behind it, and this child safety lock is set the way it should be. Everything inside isn't ready yet, so now what we have to do is attach the 3 pieces, which would be the wiring, the mechanism here that feeds through the door, because it has a keeper that's supposed to hold it in place, which I believe is that guy, but it's in the wrong place. No, it comes up further. I want to say it comes up. No, it does not come up in the window track. Thank you very much. It comes up here. Comes up. This little jewel goes right there. And as usual, it's about half broken. It always ends up that way very easily. This guy's ready to go in. Wiring for the little bugger is hanging out right here and needs to be carefully set onto the connector. And since I'm about half blind, I'm going to grab this. The connector should be on the bottom down here in the back, down low, and it is set so that it has 2 on 2, 2 rails up. So looking at the connector, I'm going to want the 2 rails up. I believe means the red should be in an upwards direction. Nope, the red is in a downwards direction. Good enough. No, it didn't. Excuse me very much. Red should be upwards, up top. Set like that so it goes straight in from the outside. There we go. I get in here, feel my way into the latch itself. This is up here. Feel the electrical connector. Which is even higher than I'm reaching. Yeah, my hands just don't want to go up there. Come on. You can get in there. Where are we here? That's it, right there. This is fun. You squeeze your hand in here just as tight as it'll go, scrape the skin off, and you keep pushing until that snap latch is on. Sweetness. Okay? Now with that in place, the last piece of it is getting the interior door control rod into its little clippy. Which I seem to have latched. I need a flashlight. I will be back in a moment. Alright, just so we can see what it looks like. Take us out here and make it so you can see in there. And there's a yellow clippy thing. It's open. That rod has to be connected to it, which is what I'm about to do next. I cannot do that one-handed. So we will go back here onto the camera stand. Well, I knock that little puppy out. Make it so it's attached. Flashlights are wonderful. Accessories. and you can't get your hand in the place you want it. So that should pull that, and then the other piece should be the external door. So it'll be this, which appears to be opening it, closing it. So now we'll just go ahead and reverse latch and get this tight. Now, this little guy that I'm pointing at right down here is how you take a key and turn it from kid lock to non-kid lock. So if it's kid locked, you can't open it here. So what I should be able to do is turn it 90 degrees, which completely releases this cable. It no longer works. If I turn it that way, it now has, if I lock the door, it should open, which it did. If I lock the door again, pull from the outside, it should open, which it did. Finally, because the wires are plugged in, it locked, it unlocked. So, check all that stuff before you put the siding back on. It's really embarrassing to lock it all in place and then discover that you forgot to latch the wires on, or something equally obnoxiously simple. Okay, next magical trick. The replacement of the weather shield. So, I need to take the wiring through it. I need to take this guy through it. Now what you're looking for is where you took it off. And that can take a minute or two to find the original alignment, because it's not always intuitively obvious to the casual observer where it belongs. Because you have to have the various guide pins and holes in the right places for the various pins. So I'm lining up things where they need to go, because otherwise things will not be in the right place. That doesn't look right. Pretty much across the board. That looks okay. That looks okay. That piece is lined up right where I want it. That appears to be lined up where I want it. Steel rubber can be amazingly annoying to work with. Because it gets kind of dried out and hard and misbehaved. It will heat up and reseal over time when the rest of the door is sitting on it. So you get it close where you want it. You get the door panel itself and check. All the plastic bits are in there, the guides, the latch pins, all that stuff. And you start lining up the pieces, which is, with it leaned out, you set it down, and then you start feeding the wires through. Yeah, it leaned out and let it down. How about I wake up and remember one of the important pieces, and I'll lay it on one of the guide pins, is you have got to get the door latch in before you put that thing on, or you will not have the bits where you want them. Okay, that is not right. Why are you down so far? I'll teach you a new set of curse words. Right regular. With very much ease. Okay. So that guy wants to be right on there. This guy is pretty much okay. I got a bad latch in there though. Hold on, I'm going to go see if I got replacement latches. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have a spare one of these. It's a door latching piece. You want to buy them either from the manufacturer or find somebody who makes really good ones, because the junk ones are not worth the time of day. Pop out. I have alignment marks. That guy's good. That guy is not good. I want to show you something. This is one of the things that happens that will drive you seriously bonkers. If you look at this real carefully in there, you see that piece of metal down at the bottom? If you look over here and look carefully, it looks like it's threaded to catch. That side requires one of those little spring catches, and it dropped. So you have to go get a mini screwdriver to pull that guy up to get screws started. It can fight with you a lot. So, alrighty, so this little guy covered with something nasty, but let's get it down in there. Press the door slightly. Bolts in the extension there. Get it in and get it threaded. And that will pull that puppy up a little. I don't want to do that much. I want to keep it in there just enough. I don't have to come back after it. I'll do the same thing with the other one down at the bottom. And I'm going to start wrestling with that other corner because it doesn't seem to want to go in all the way. So, piece by piece, we get there. Guidance on that. Right there. That's in. Silly little holder thing has to go the right way. It's got a bottom latch and two top locks. That's in. That's not tight yet. And we come back and we argue with this thing a little bit more. Let's see what we can. Push the button to make that thing come up. Okay, she's unlocked. Get this guy lined up with a little shaft down in there right until it touches, and that thing is laid on there. Push it in and it will set like it's supposed to. So now, okay, so close the door. Latch is good and tight. External latch works. Lock it. Doesn't open. Opens up. I'd say we got it about as good as it's going to get. Anyway, that's it. One of the features of General Motors. those little electric wonderful door latches they have. Bye for now.